Good morning. It is day 4 of International Coaching Week. What is today? May 7th. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning. What day is it?
Yeah, what day is this? We've had quite a week, and we're just going to hang out here and see who's going to show up. Got a couple people coming in already. This is where I get to do my romper room thing. I see Angela and I see Susan. I see.
Hi, Susan.
Good morning. Good morning, April. We're glad to have you here. This is our third time offering this same session. So this is going to be a little bit smaller group than we've had the rest of the week, but we're really happy to have you here today.
Would you please put in the chat box where you're zooming in from? We'd love to see that.
Yeah.
So we can all see each other.
Yeah, and when you chat, you can chat either to just the panelists or you can chat to the panelists and the attendees. And someone commented last night they felt like they were in a room with a bunch of people because everybody was chatting together to all the participants. So there was a nice flow of communication.
So we've got New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Cool. And if you're not from Connecticut, I'm really curious how you even found out about our International Coaching Week. We had someone on last night who's from Texas. And she's training to be a coach, but her chapter is like 5 hours away in terms of where they meet in person. And so she is happy to find out what else is out there.
Hi, April. I'm in Stamford as well. Nice to meet you. I didn't know you grew up in Ridgefield, Susan.
Great. That's great. So yeah, what we're finding is that some of our members are letting people know they have friends all over the country, or they posted on LinkedIn or whatever. So we're kind of reaching a lot of different places. So
and we also had somebody on one of our regulars, Richard, who is from Marietta, Georgia.
Yeah,
and was finding that he was loving the idea of so many free. Really high quality presentations, and he's learning about being a career coach. So he's been in on a lot of sessions. Yeah. LinkedIn.
Great. Well, good morning to everyone. Let's see. How many?
Oh, sorry about that. Losing my light.
All right, we're expecting a few more, but why don't we get started, Judy?
Okay.
I know 8 o'clock is early for some people who've been dealing with a lot of stuff at home. So, all right. So, well, I want to welcome everyone to our International Coaching Week celebration, Raise the Bar webinar, 5 themes, 5 days of learning. And we're here at the Connecticut chapter of the International Coaching Federation as part of the whole global event that's going on all over the world during International Coaching Week. So our members are bringing their specialization, their talents, and their knowledge, and have created webinars to offer to the community. We're just really excited to be part of all that. And we thought we should have one that was more about what is coaching, in case you don't know what coaching is. So this helps, celebrate the power of professional coaching to positively impact individuals, organizations, communities, and the world. So we are on day 4, and there are still 2 more webinars later today at noon and again at 6. And then there are 2 more tomorrow at 8 a.m. and at noon. So there's still time to register for more if you haven't already. A little bit of Zoom housekeeping. If you roll your cursor down to the bottom of the screen, you'll see Q&A and raise your hand and chat box. So we'd love for you to put things in the chat box in general, and try to, if you don't mind, depending on what you want to share, to the panels and to the rest of the attendees. And that way we all get to see what everybody's saying. And then if you have a specific question, you can put that in the question box. It makes it a little bit easier for us to find the questions. We're going to have a couple of polls and we'll have you participating. And if at any time you want us to stop and ask a question, just raise your hand, and you should be able to see that tab at the bottom there. I think that's about it for housekeeping, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to introduce Judy. Judy Garfinkel brings over 25 years of experience in professional development, teaching, and personal growth to assisting individuals through career and life transitions. As a career transition, job search, and life coach at Move Into Change, Judy guides clients through the various phases of career transition, from discovering passions, identifying skills, and accessing motivators to the practicalities of the job search. She excels at recognizing what is essential to clients and customizing resources that support their growth. Clients are drawn to Judy for her easy presence, her smarts, and her thoughtful coaching that comes from the heart. And I've been really happy to be her partner in crime all week. Judy has a number of credentialing certifications through the International Coaching Federation, and also she's a board certified coach. She's certified focusing professional. We all need that, a little bit of focusing. And she is the president-elect of ICF Connecticut. So as of July 1st, she'll be taking over and I will become past president.
Thank you for that introduction, Monica.
Well, and one more thing, don't want to forget that on Friday at noon, Judy and Isabella are leading our very last webinar, and it's called Leveraging Your Strengths for Successful Career Transitions. And I think everybody should see it. I've gotten a preview, and I think it's really great whether you're transitioning in a job or not.
Oh, thanks, Monica. Monica has offered several wonderful events this week, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Monica has been an incredible support as president-elect of, current president of ICF Connecticut. She is a professional certified coach, and she's been working with individuals, couples, and teams for over 12 years on everything from entrepreneur business building and management to life and relationship issues. Monica is sometimes called a goal accelerator and a conversation whisperer. I've had the experience of Monica's conversational magic. Monica's clients learn strategies and tools to gain clarity and motivation to achieve their goals and become leaders in their own lives. She also helps them address things they might be avoiding, from difficult decisions to difficult conversations. Monica is also the author of a Kindle book. It's on overcoming stress, tension, overwhelm, and procrastination, which spells stop, and will be presenting and has been presenting this week. She presented one event on conflict resolution and relationship building, and another one last night on 5 steps to overcome stress and regain control. Please welcome Monica Leggett.
Hey. So
today,
there we go.
What we're going to be covering is what isn't and what is coaching. What does a coach do? Types of coaching, what to expect, and some hiring tips.
Yeah, so we would like to start with a little poll that will help us kind of see where you're at, and it's something that a coach would do sort of at the beginning of a coaching, either beginning session or beginning of a coaching agreement. If you could wave a magic wand and improve or expand certain areas of your life, which ones would you choose? So take a look at this list. I'm going to launch a poll, and we want you to pick anywhere from 1 to 3 areas of your life that you might want to consider improving, moving forward. Coaching is about where are you now and where do you want to go toward moving forward. So just plug in the areas that you're interested in, then hit submit, and we'll start seeing some answers shortly. There we go. Give it a few more seconds. Then this is the third time now, right, Judy? We've offered the same one.
Yes, Monica, have you made me co-host?
Let me check on that.
Just checking. There are certain things I can't see.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Let me finish the polling and then okay, I'm going to end the polling and I'll share the results.
I can see them now.
Interesting. So we have a three-way tie for the most for career or business area, or organization and productivity, or professional leadership and development. Professional or leadership development. Cool. Let me hit stop share and then I will make you co-host, Judy.
Thank you.
I thought I did that already.
That's okay. So career, organization, productivity, and professional development had a tie today. Yeah. So one of the things people often ask me when I say that I'm a coach is like, why would someone need a coach? You know? And so one of the things I answer is there are often places in our lives, like we just saw, where we want more. We may be doing really well, but we have a sense that there's more juice in our career, or there's another level we want to reach in our relationships, or we want to develop something in ourselves that we may recognize as unrealized potential. And it might be a leadership quality, or it might be something that we want to bring to a team or a mentee or somebody that we are supervising or working with. And we want to bring that out of them or out of ourselves. Many people come to coaching. Some people come to me for career transition for those reasons, but they also may come because they've been looking for a particular kind of work and they haven't been able to let that happen, or they may have, it may be in your case, Monica, they may have something in a relationship that's personal relationship where they've been trying everything and their strategies haven't worked, or they feel stuck somehow in their lives. So coaching, if these are things that ways you're feeling about some of the things that you might have written in your poll, are you stuck? Are you realizing that you have some potential that you haven't explored yet? These are all reasons why people come to coaching, or why you might benefit from coaching. Often it's, I know what I want, but I just don't know how to get it. And all the ways that I've thought of just don't seem to be bringing me the results that I want. So coaching could be for you, anyone you know who might be in that position in their lives.
Yeah, and we'd like to ask you what you think coaching is. So just take a moment to answer it for yourself, maybe in your mind. And then if you wouldn't mind putting something in the chat box, we'd love to see what people think coaching might be about. You may have heard different things, and the term is used loosely with mentoring or advising or consulting. So what do you think coaching is?
Or if you've had a coach, how would you describe what your experience taught you about coaching?
Yeah. I see. Empowering and unleashing potential. Thank you.
Thank you.
Someone with some knowledge there. So why don't we just, you can add to the chat anytime. Why don't we go ahead, Judy, and we'll.
Advisor to help with specific issues.
Right.
Yeah.
And remember that word advisor, Angela, as we go on. That's an important word.
So a lot of what happens, Monica, maybe you want to talk about this part?
Yeah. Let's give a definition according to the International Coaching Federation. Partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So 3 key words to me are partnering. It really is a partnership. And it's a thought-provoking creative process. And the client is maximizing their full potential. Sometimes they come in for a professional kind of, maybe it's executive coaching at work, but they're noticing a lot of personal growth as well. So coaching is client-driven. It's the client's agenda, not the coach's agenda. And in coaching, you're really focusing on setting and clarifying and developing your goals, creating the outcomes that you want, shifting perspective, managing personal change, and maybe managing the stress that comes with that personal change, as we were talking about last night. And then really getting into action, seeing those changes that you want to have. If we didn't want change, then we wouldn't be probably coming to coaching. Everything is fine. But if there's something you want to move toward, it means you're going to have to do things a little bit differently.
Yes. Cindy says in the chat that she's defining coaching as finding one's strengths and seeing one's personal best.
Very nice. Yep. And I see
yes.
an objective outsider to help you reach new potential. That's a really good point.
A safe, non-judgmental space to dig deep and find the answers within.
Nice definitions. Very good. So the coach's role is, as I said, it's really to help you discover and clarify and align with what you want to achieve. Again, I'm just an objective observer and a sounding board, and it's you, the client, wants to decide what they want to do. So we're encouraging self-discovery, we're eliciting client-generated solutions and strategies, and we're holding the client responsible and accountable, not in a nagging way, but just in a really supportive way. I always start every coaching session with, what are some wins for the week? You know, shifting that positive perspective, what's working well? And then, and then seeing, well, you said last time you were thinking about doing this thing, and how'd that go? And then we kind of find out.
Yeah, and Stephanie mentioned in her definition a piece of the how, right, which was creating a safe, non-judgmental space. So this is what coaches the role of a coach. And there's also the how, which we'll talk a little bit about later. So I'm sure if the coaches in the audience here have experienced the questions about, isn't this therapy, or isn't it just like when I have a golf coach, or aren't you going to, come in and tell me what to do? Oops, I've got a wire here. I just almost knocked myself off. So what coaching isn't? Coaching isn't therapy. And I get this question a lot because we deal with whole human beings who have full emotions, and emotions are a big piece of what makes us do what we do and feel the way we do, and a big piece of coaching. But therapy is basically about diagnosis, right? A therapist diagnoses kind of what your issue is and then works with you to go back into your past to heal it and to, or sometimes to manage it, depending on what the diagnosis is. Coaches do not diagnose. Coaches come from the place of the client has everything the client needs within themselves to find what they need in order to move forward. It's very forward facing. If for some reason in a session something comes from the past, the coach's job is to frame it so we know that about the past. So what will we do with that now and into the future? It's not about healing a past wound. Although, as I've said before, sometimes clients say the process of coaching has a therapeutic result, but it isn't therapy. It feels there are therapeutic aspects to it. As with anything, there's no kind of brick wall between. There are some places where there are crossovers, but there's very clear differences between therapy and coaching. And I'm imagining that some of you coaches in the audience could probably name some other ones as well. The other thing that it is not is similar to is athletic coaching. Athletic coaching is very much about technical changes that a coach will give you? Are there, fix your grip on your tennis racket, or what a dance coach might do would be have you, do this with your arms so that your turns you are better. These are things athletic coaches do. Is there a crossover? Yes, some athletic coaches have a coaching background where they do performance work with people about mindset. So is there a crossover? Maybe, but pure coaching is not about the way an athletic development coach works. And coaching is not advising, consulting, and directing. Unfortunately, like our Lucy Van Pelt from over here, she gives flawless advice, doesn't she, to Julie Brown? But she's not a coach. She loves to tell people what to do. And what that is a consultant. And that's a very valid role. And there's some of us coaches have consulting aspects to our work. I know that I do, particularly in the job search area. I don't sit down with a client and say, tell me how you think a resume should look. I will give them advice about the resume and how to change it. And it might change it, write it with them or for them. So that's consulting. That is not coaching. And it's a valuable tool, but it is not coaching. Coaching is all about drawing from the client what the client knows and can make changes about.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we talked a little bit about the structure of coaching. We lost our graphic.
Yeah. Yeah, it disappeared. We had a lovely little graphic right at the top of this slide that said special sauce.
Right. So we've given sort of the structure. Okay, you come in and you've got an issue or a goal that you want to work on, and you think of the options and then you get into action. But what's missing is really the description of what happens in between that beginning and end. There is a shift of mindset and perspective. There's so many things that happen within coaching. And it is that partnership that we do with our clients. We're asking our clients what they think they should do to solve the problem, but we don't pose it in that kind of question. So what do you think you should do? It's like, if you could give yourself advice, or if your friend was here, what would your friend say? Often you can tap into what you think you should be doing when you're coming from a different frame of mind. Or like, what's possible? Just a really open-ended question that gets you thinking. And when you focus on the outcome that you want, rather than focusing on the problem or the issue, you get to see a lot of other things. So that's really, there's a lot of magic.
Yeah, and we talk about the synergy that happens in a coaching relationship, because it's a relationship like no other. We have people in our lives that love us and care about us and want the best from us in their hearts because they love us. Our parents, our siblings, our best friends, our spouses. But they also come with their own agenda and their own ideas about who you are and who you can be, even though they want and love you and want the best for you. What a coach doesn't have that agenda. A coach, the only agenda a coach has is for you to be maximizing your potential and what you believe you can accomplish and what you want, and to achieve your goals. So that is a unique space, and it also is a space that has training and has a training and a structure. So it isn't. I love that there's magic, because there is magic, but it's not. We're not waving a magic wand over you. There is there's a framework and a training that goes into being able to create that. And I like to describe that. The metaphor I like for that is, it's like as the client, you're the river, and the coach is the banks of the river. So the energy for change and the movement and the flow comes from the client, and the guidance and the structure and the framework come from the coach. So, and the coach is training.
Yeah, and the coach, and that focus you mentioned, Judy, too. The coach can help you stay focused, because we often get distracted by the bright, shiny object, or the little venting story or whatever it is that can really get you off track, but the coach helps keep the conversation going in the right direction.
And that's a piece of the magic too. And that's also about the coach you choose in the relationship that the coach and you create. It's a co-created relationship and co-created moments in a coaching session where the coach is helping the client, joining with the client to create new ideas, new mindsets, whatever it might be. And we'll talk more about that in a moment.
Yeah. Let me share my little quote here. So
Yes.
if I have an hour to solve a problem, I spend 55 minutes studying the problem and 5 minutes solving it. So Albert Einstein had this great framework for us. And I think of coaching is the 55 minutes studying the issue and thinking it through and coming up with ideas and exploring possibilities. And then the 5 minutes is at the end where you're saying, this is what I'm committing to, and this is what I'm going to go forward with. And it's that commitment and that confidence and that clarity that really helps you stay in action. So there are a lot of typical reasons. There was a study done by ICF Global in 2017. And again, our graphic thing is missing, but so anywhere from 32 to 43%, these were the typical reasons. And a lot have to do with work and performance, communication, productivity, expanding career opportunities, increasing your self-esteem or self-confidence, which is often a side effect. It's not a reason necessarily to hire a coach, although some are like a performance coach or building confidence in leadership. And then there's always managing work-life balance and improving business management. I'm a coach for entrepreneurs a lot, so there's a business management, but there's also that work-life because they're home-based entrepreneurs and family issues, and there's the self-confidence that you build as you're becoming more and more successful. So they kind of all overlap, don't they? They blend together.
Yeah, and they do overlap. And these are typical reasons people contact a coach. But what we notice is that it may be that the reason why a person comes for a coach, there may be other things underlying that are really where the real need of the work is. And so these all overlap. And the outcomes include a lot of these things. Like I've said before to Monica that when I work with career coaching clients, often the work of figuring out who they are and what they want next, or even on their resume, is a self-esteem and a confidence booster as Monica said, a positive side effect.
Yeah. So there are lots of types of coaching too, the niches. So Judy has an area of expertise, and her niche is around career coaching and other things. I have some training in relationship organization, relationship systems coaching. So I've coached teams, I've coached couples who work together, couples getting ready to get married. So there's a number of niches, and the main ones have to have, the field of coaching has really been pushed by the connection with business and leadership development, executive, and business and organization. But there's a steady stream of life coaches, health coaches. We have even on our list the ADHD coaching, divorce coaching. There's pretty much a niche for just about everything you can think of. And there's a lot of overlap too.
Yes, and it's wonderful to talk to a coach, and we'll get into this later about what they do, who they primarily work with, but all of us have come in with many skills, and we refine it into a niche. We also have more talents and more areas that we work in, and our coaches in Connecticut are very diverse. As if you've watched this week, you have seen there's been many different approaches to coaching. So let's say you've said, yes, that's me, and I have something I want to work on, and I am really, really looking like I'm ready to do this. What goes into the decision to work with a coach? And this information here also comes from an ICF study done in 2016. And what they found was financial investment is a piece of investment, right? You're investing in yourself, and that, of course, takes a financial investment, and that varies significantly by the region you're in, by the specialty that you're asking the coach to be in, or their specialty area, and the coach it's herself or himself. That might include the training level that they're at, the amount of years they've been coaching, and the kinds of clients that they're looking to attract. And you're also going to be investing some time and energy, because of course you're worth it, right? You're worth your own time and energy. So that would include appointment times and engagement length, which you would discuss with the coach, and creating what their structure is, or the structure you create together that works best for you. I like to do that with a lot of clients. What's the structure that would work best for you, what you know about yourself, and we can tweak that as we learn more about what really works. And a readiness that Monica mentioned before, a readiness to commit to real change. What I like to call building on some of Brene Brown's work is it's ordinary courage. You don't need superhuman courage to commit to making real change. You need ordinary human courage to be able to do this work. And some courage and some inspiration to build off of what one of our presenters said yesterday.
Yeah. So what to expect? Judy, that's your slide.
That's okay, Monica. What to expect from a coach? Well, some basics are usually a conversation happens with a coach, or a consulting session, or a free session, something along those lines. And out of that would come a coaching agreement that is often verbal and then written, so that everybody knows what they agreed to. Many coaches do assessment work, sometimes pre-work assessment. I often do some assessments at the beginning, but I sometimes wait to see what might be needed later. It might be a questionnaire. It might be something specific like a 360. If you're working with executives or in an organization, it might be something like a DISC profile about behavior in the workplace. It might be a Myers-Briggs. It might be something you've created. The coach has created their own tool on themselves. It might be a Holland Codes. There's a lot of different ways that coaches help their clients assess where they're at, depending on what they're coming for. And there is an emphasis in coaching and in our training on powerful questions. And these questions are powerful only when they have a result. And the result is that they help the client identify an issue, maybe that they weren't aware of, and create some awareness, or really drill down to the kernel of something. Or maybe to notice with some direct feedback or a powerful question about what their perspective is, or what an assumption they might be making, or what mindset they might be making or noticing about themselves. Brainstorming. This is when questions that the coach asks allows the client to come up with new and fresh ideas, things that they hadn't thought of before. Sometimes a coach joins in that, but it's really facilitating that to happen. And, and powerful questions that might help a client choose from some options. These are just some of the ways that coaches use powerful questions in a session. One of the things that I love that happens when I ask powerful questions, I often know a question has been very powerful when the client says to me, I've asked an open-ended question, and the client says to me, "Oh, you're right." And I haven't offered any advice, but they have heard themselves, and they think I said it, but they said it. And so that's reflected back as well, but it's a really fun moment. Oh, you're right. And the other thing to expect in this section is accountability. And we know that accountability for goals and actions, Monica mentioned keeping people on track, but it also can look very small, like at the end of a session. So from what you heard today, what's something that you might take an action on? What will that look like? How will you know you've completed it? What do you need to stay with this? So it could be, Monica, you can say, you have a wonderful story about text. So why don't you say that?
Oh, yeah. I always hold up my phone when I'm talking about text messages. I love getting texts from my clients because that's the easiest way for them to communicate to me that, yeah, I did that thing that I said I was going to do, and I'm really excited. I'm celebrating, woohoo.
Yes, and some clients need very little, right?
Yeah. And some don't want to. But we also talked about the fact that if you start the next session and you're like, so how'd it go? What did you accomplish in the last couple of weeks, or what were you thinking about? Or if they're coming in and saying, oh, I haven't done anything, and it's been 2 weeks, I haven't done anything, I didn't do any of the things that I said I would do. And that happens maybe over and over again. They're not in it. And then we have to talk about this. So are you committed, and what will help you get that much closer? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to do this?
Yes.
7. Well, what would make it an 8? What would make it a 9? Or, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this to you? Because sometimes we set goals and then we realize they're really not important goals. Certainly not to us. They might be important for someone else. But the reason why they're not doing that thing they said they wanted to do is because it really wasn't the right agenda. It wasn't the right thing for them to be working on. I've had clients who are, as I said, entrepreneurs or something, and they come back and they're like, I cleaned out the whole house. My kids, we did a decluttering of the whole house. Well, it had nothing to do with her primary goals, but it was the second goal she'd never mentioned to me, but she was just in action on something else. So you never know what shows up in that accountability.
Right. So in a typical session or in a typical coaching agreement, there will be accountability for goals and actions, and that is on the micro and on the macro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is coaching now? Do you have a different kind of idea or definition of what coaching might be? And maybe it's a metaphor. Like coaching is like, and we'd love to see it if you put it in the chat box or the Q&A box. Share with us what you're thinking now. And of course, the very best way to know what coaching is to experience it for yourself. So if you are so inclined, you can put something in the chat box. I'll just pause here for a second, see if anybody wants to. And I'm just checking back. I don't know if there was any other comments in there. So it's a safe, non-judgmental space to dig in and find answers. An objective advisor to help you reach new potential. Finding one's strengths and seeing one's personal best. Great.
An evolving realization of goals and a pathway to achieve.
Yeah.
Love that.
It is evolving. It is evolving. I remember one of the cornerstones when I was in coach training was to be able to dance in the moment with the client. And another cornerstone was to be, the client is creative, resourceful, and whole. Clients don't need fixing. So you don't come in like, oh, I need a coach, I need fixing. That's not it. You have it within you. And we're just going to find that pearl in there.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes.
I think we,
so wonderful, enriched, to me, definitions of coaching. So thank you for that. So, okay, you're here, you work, maybe you're there and you're not a coach and you're listening to this and you're saying, okay, I've decided to hire a coach.
Or even if you are a coach, you can hire a coach too.
That's true.
I have a coach.
That's very true. Thank you for reminding me about that. So, but some hiring tips, right? So what might you ask? Well, you could ask about experience and specific training, specialty, level, kind of client, a philosophy, an approach to coaching, maybe what certification the person has in assessments, some success stories, hopefully in the area that you're looking to change in yourself or related areas. And are you a member of ICF, and do you hold a credential? And why, Monica, is that important? Why would a credentialed coach be an important thing?
Well, it shows that you have not only had very coach-specific training from a training program that is accredited, as opposed to, oh, I think I'll teach people how to coach and, just come up with an agenda. ICF actually, accredits programs, and then they have a credentialing system that says how many hours of coaching you've had. You've passed a written exam, an oral exam, an ethics course, a number of things. And you can find credentialed coaches in a couple of places. Both the ICF Global's website is coachfederation.org, and their coach finder is this credentialedcoachfinder.com. And then on our website, we have ICF-CT.org. Right toward the bottom, there's a Find a Coach tab. And you can go in there and you can pick what specialty coach you might be looking for. Career transition, relationship, personal development, leadership, all sorts of choices. And if you want to be coaching in person, if that comes back to us sometime soon, I hope, or if you're looking for a speaker, you can find speakers on here too. So we have our own little directory. And I know, Judy, you have a great story about your getting credentials. So tell us.
Well, after many years of teaching and working as a mentor and creating teaching and service days and professional development for teachers, and even coaching teachers sometimes to be better teachers or to not be teachers at all. This was all in my role in professional development, but I had not had any coaching training because I didn't actually even know that I wanted to be a coach until later. And so when I discovered that I wanted to be a coach, I found out about ICF. And from my experience as a dancer and a dance teacher earlier in life, I knew that there were dance teachers out there who should not be allowed to teach dance. And very much because there's no oversight. There's no licensure, there's no anything. You could just hang out a shingle and say, I teach ballet, and you could have had 2 ballet lessons or 1 in your whole life. And so I knew that. And so I wanted to be part of an organization that had some oversight and some standards. And I wanted the credibility of that. I wanted that for myself. But I did it. And I'm a learner. So I thought, and I'll learn something along the way. I was blown away. And so I have a little bit of a confession, because I really didn't think I came into it thinking I knew a lot. And I did, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And when I took the training, I was blown away by what I learned about coaching, about the competencies, what I learned, what I grew in myself, what I learned about what I already had that was strong and could amplify, and what I could bring to my coaching clients than I even knew was possible. And so I went into it with a bit of a closed mind, like looking for credibility. And what I got was extraordinary. So that means a lot to me to be able to tell you that story.
Yeah. And that, there are a lot of people, good-hearted people who spent 25 years in HR or something, and they say, I'm gonna start and be a coach. And what they don't realize is they're really giving more advice and based on their expertise, and it's not the same as coaching. So we really, obviously, we hope people will get the coach-specific training and become a member of ICF as well.
Yeah, and I just want to add that what I learned was partially how to differentiate when I was coaching and when I was consulting, because I do have aspects in my work where I'm consulting. So knowing it and being clear about it ethically for my clients and for myself is a huge gift we bring to our clients.
Yeah, kind of like you can, I always mess up this phrase, but you can, give a man a fish and feed him for a day, but you can teach a man to fish and they can feed themselves for life. And this
absolutely,
we as coaches are helping grow our clients so that they become their own coach.
Or leaders in their own life.
Leaders in their own life.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So a quick overview of ICF, because we are representing ICF during this week, and we are ICF trained coaches, and we are ICF, the Connecticut chapter. So ICF is this overarching standard, global standard creator and bearer for professional coaching. They are all about our core competencies and ethics, and they do industry research, and they also support us as coaches with many different wonderful trainings, as well as affiliations and things like that. They as Monica said, they accredit independent programs so that they meet standards, and they give access to credentialed coaches all around the world, and they connect us with each other all over the world, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are over, I think these numbers are closer to 37,000 now, ICF members in more than 140 countries. Most of them have ICF credentials, and there's 3 levels: ACC, PCC, MCC, that have to do with how many hours of coaching you've done in your lifetime. And and then you have to pass, fundamental coursework and things like that. So right now we have 192 members here in the state of Connecticut. There's probably a lot more coaches than that in the state, but some of them don't even know that ICF exists. They might have gone through like a health coach training program that's not affiliated with ICF, and they get really excited when they find out that there's this whole professional world of coaches outside of what they know of. So we have a lot of credentialed holders in our chapter, and we're really thrilled to be offering this program this week. So do we have any questions? If you came in wondering what is coaching and why would I want to have a coach, and maybe did you get some answers today? We'd love to hear a little bit in the chat box what you think about it.
What is the session tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow morning we have Dina Markine is doing Oasis in the Overwhelm, and there are a few of us who are Oasis trainers, and it's techniques to overcome, as we say, from chaos to calm. And then at noon, Judy and Isabella, I don't know, you want to tell yours. The title is Leverage Your Strengths for Successful Career Transitions.
Yes, we're going to take you through looking at strengths and how to use your strengths to thrive in a career transition in the way, and shift a paradigm about the way people think about strengths and weaknesses. Many people do. So there's a question in here about how to reach us. So here you are. Here's to reach us. Connect with us on LinkedIn. Reach out to us via email. We'd love to talk with you and make connections with you. And if you're local, even maybe find a way to do it. Well, we can do a virtual coffee anywhere, but when this opens up, find a way to connect in person. How do I find other groups in Connecticut? Are you in New Jersey? ICF is everywhere. There are chapters everywhere. You could look, go on to ICF Global, and the global website is called Coaching Federation, coachfederation.org. You might be able to find a chapter there, or you can contact me and I'll find out where that chapter is for you, Angela. Yeah, and I know the New Jersey group, because it's such a long state, they have sort of satellites. And right now, obviously, everything has become virtual, but there is an ICF New Jersey. And even if you just Google ICF space NJ, you would probably find their website. So yes. 140 chapters all over the country, and many of them in the United States. Yeah, all over the world. Yeah, 140 all over the world. I meant all over the world. Sorry. So some states have their own. New York City, or New York has 2. There's one in New York City that's for the whole metropolitan area. So it goes from Westchester down to northern New Jersey. So yeah, there's a lot of different chapters, and a lot of them are doing things virtually. So right now, all of our professional development has really gone online at this point. And some chapters are only virtual anyway, because they're so spread out. You know, some states are really spread out. So Cindy's new to coaching. It's a great idea, Cindy. We've had quite a few people who are either in coach training or, you know, have just put out a shingle or haven't even officially opened their website or whatever. And they're getting ideas, and that's the best thing you can do. Be like a sponge. Just keep absorbing. Don't get yourself overwhelmed, though. And
and, you know, pick what's important to you to know. What is the next step that you need to take to move you forward?
You know, and I might also say, Cindy, a great resource also, there are so many out there, is that we have in our chapter, and it's virtual now, so anybody can come, is our Coach Cafe, which meets the second or first Wednesday of every month.
Yeah, and then I do one on the third Wednesday.
Right, and it's free, and you can go to our icfconnecticut.org and see and sign up and just register so we know you get the link to come. And that's a place where wannabe coaches, current coaches, and seasoned coaches come to chat about coaching and talk about life as a coach.
Yeah.
And go to our LinkedIn and Facebook page too.
Yeah.
And check out and see what we're doing and share.
Yeah. Stephanie is our marketing chair. So thank you for
always remembering.
She's keeping an eye on us. I just came up with this brilliant, I don't know why we hadn't done it before, but we don't have our Facebook or LinkedIn, connection right from our website. So that's going to get added soon. The
icons. Yes, icons on this. We'll put that on this for sure for the next time we do this. This was a part of our outreach this week for International Coaching Week, was to offer what is coaching and how coaching can benefit people, for those people out there who are coaches and want to know more about how maybe to talk about that to people. And also how, if you're interested in coaching or being a coach, what sort of basic, really good general information from ICF would be important. And that's why, that's what this one was all about.
Yeah, and before we go, I just want to remind everybody that in tomorrow's inbox in your email, you'll get a post-event survey, and you'll get, within that same email, you'll get a link to the recording from today. So if you want to rewatch anything or, but we definitely want that survey because that really helps us know. So
Cindy, I wish I could say that, that yes to that. Unfortunately, we don't have the option to do that at this time. Which is to bring previous sessions. But if you want something from today, rest of today and tomorrow, and you can't get there, register anyway, and you'll get the link to the video.
Yeah.
And yes, you do have to register, Angela.
Yeah. We're going to see if there's a way to put links on our website from all the sessions.
But we haven't figured that out yet. So just to be sure that you get what you want from the next ones, register. It's free. It's about, we want to know who shows up, and we want to be able to monitor how many people show up in our Zoom room for privacy reasons, but also for numbers reasons, because we want to know how many people have taken advantage of our offerings. That's helpful to us. Yeah. As well as the survey is ultra helpful to us, because we want to be able to bring you what interests you and what matters to you. Yeah.
So, and you do have to register for every event has a different Zoom link. So you have to register in order to get the way to get in. So.
Oh, I'm so glad. It was a great way to start the day, you all. It was a great way for us to start the day, to meet you. And there's some real benefits to you not being seen, especially if you don't want to be seen. But it is difficult sometimes to do these things and not see a face. So the chat box is really a great way to connect with you.
Yeah, to stay connected. Yep. And our normal, our Coach Cafe meetings, we do on the regular Zoom platform, so you can actually see each other and people get to introduce themselves, and we do breakout sessions and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. So if you are a coach, or you're thinking about coaching, or want to know more about coaching,
or you just want to hang out with other coaches and have a sense of community, either that, or if you're a member, you can come to a meeting. If you're a non-member, you can also come to a meeting.
Right. And actually, our May meeting is on leveraging your influence through social media. So if you are starting a business in coaching or anything else, and you need to know anything about social media, you can sign up for that. It's Friday morning, May 29th. It's the last Friday of May. It's at 8 a.m. That one, it's $20 to do our webinars. But we'll definitely invite you to join us for that one.
But coach cafes are free.
Yeah, Coach
And the
Cafe.
meetings have, are, you know, if they're virtual, they're always the same fee. It is
Mhm.
one, but, and then we have in-person that we will have in-person meetings. Yes, we
Right.
will.
Yeah, I think we've decided probably won't be till at least January of next year. We're going to let all of the virus do what it's going to do and keep our safe distancing. And we've really had a lot of fun on Zoom. So anyway, a lot of people who couldn't naturally get to an in-person meeting are seemingly able to come to the virtual ones. So
One of the things that I enjoy most about the Coach Cafe meetings and the virtual meetings is the breakout rooms,
yeah,
because it really is a private space to have a one-on-one or a 3 or 4-way conversation
yeah,
and really kind of get to know another coach and another person really well. And I value that, particularly in this time when we can't be in person.
yeah, yeah. So are there any other questions or comments, or I feel like I know you guys now, April and Angela and Cindy and Stephanie. Thanks for being
And Susan.
here. Susan, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it. Are we all set?
You know, one of the things that I could mention, since Susan, if you're still on the call, I was actually recruited through Susan to work with Susan's company, REA Careers, and I'm a consultant and career coach there. Because of my ICF credential. I was told, help me if I'm wrong about this, Susan, but I remember being told at the very beginning that one of the ways that people found me on LinkedIn was because of the keyword ICF credentialed.
Nice.
So yes, I'm correct. I remembered correctly. It was a while back. And so I often, when I'm working with my job search clients and they're saying to me, oh, do I really need a LinkedIn profile that's really good? And I tell them the story about how I was recruited, not just that not other people who find me in other ways on LinkedIn, but I was actually recruited through keywords, when I want to talk about the value of keywords.
Yeah.
And I say, I'm talking to you, if it's an REA client, I say, I am talking to you because I was recruited for that. And if it's not, it's their sole way of recruiting coaches. Yeah. So that's true for a lot of companies. So ICF credential has a lot of meaning in the world.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify one thing. A lot of people come through a program and are certified by that program. So certified means one thing. And then credentialed just means that you meet the standards of ICF to have 100 hours, to have a certain number of hours training, certain number of hours coaching, pass the ethics course, done the written and oral exam. And so now you can be an ACC, and that's at least 100 hours of coaching, paid coaching, pretty much. And then there's a 500 hours and the 2,500 hours. So those are the ACC, PCC, and MCC. And
those are choices. Coaches can choose whether they want to do that or not.
Right. So just in case anybody was wondering about that.
Yes, it's often a confusion between credentialed and certified. I almost wish that they started with different letters, even though the sound is different. I think it would help people.
Yeah.
One thing started with a T and the other thing started with a C. They might have a somehow I feel like that would make it easier for people.
Right. So anyway, it's been our pleasure to be here with you today, and I keep looking at the chat box. Yeah, so no new comments. I'm just thrilled that you're all here, and have a great day, and I hope you'll sign up for a few more. And even if you can't get there at noon or at 6, register, and then you'll get the recording. And please keep in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome, everybody. And we're going to sign off. And Monica, I think we should take this on the road.
I think so too. We should do it more often.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've really enjoyed being with you today. So have a great day.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.